Hi everybody, welcome to the Emerald Museum, which is located in Cartagena, Colombia. Now, if you are following me on YouTube, you know that prior videos that I've done in Colombia this past week have explained that the production of gold and salt has been very big in Colombia for quite some time. Well, gold not so much as more, but in the past it was. Now, I'm also going to mention that the production of emeralds has been big in Colombia for quite some time as well. And in this tour, we're going to show you a bit about how it was mined in the past. We're going to tell you a bit about the history of it in the museum part, and then we're going to actually go in the lab and show you what they do to actually get the emeralds out of the rocks. So stay tuned, we're just getting started. Hi everybody, continue the tour. Now I'm going to show you a little diagram or diorama of what the emeralds look like when the miners first see them. Now, if you look down here, there are 4 different ways you can find them in the sense that they come with 4 different minerals. This one here is graphic pyrite or fool's gold. This one here is called coarse. This one here is called calcite, and this one here is carbon. Now, a couple of things that have to be mentioned here. One of the things they look for is the Saginaw shape. Now, this one right here did not crystallize at all, so this one is going to be put aside right away. These ones here with a more elongated shape are going to be looked at more closely because that's the first thing they need to look at. Now, the next thing they need to look at, there are 3 things. They have to look at color, brightness, and transparency. This one in the middle here has none of the above, so it's going to be disregarded pretty quickly. But some of these other ones right here have a lot more color and brightness and transparency, so those ones there are going to be given a hard look. Okay, so that's that part of the tour. Talk soon. All right, we continue the tour. Now we're going to go inside what the mine looks like. Let's have a look in here now. Okay, now the mines of Colombia were approximately 4,500 feet below the surface. Okay, now one thing that's very important, if you look on the side here we have this little white streak here. This indicated the presence of calcite. Now back there I showed you the different rocks. Calcite was one, and I should mention any of those rocks collectively are known as matrix rocks. Now, if you look right here, you can see some of the green emeralds right here. So if they saw them at the surface, what they would do is they would just simply use a hammer and chop it out. Or if they didn't see any at the surface, there might be some emeralds anyway. So what they do is they would explode it, and they would get the matrix rocks out. And if they exploded, look in here, this is what it would look like there. Okay, now most importantly, no matter what the situation, if they had exploded or they got it out with a hammer, they had to get out the entire matrix rock because they didn't know exactly how much emerald was in there. All right, continuing the tour of the mine. Now here you can see right here, here's some replicas of the miners, or statues you want to call them that, and here's some in here. Okay, so let's head outside and show you what's going on here. And you can see someone pushing a little wheelbarrow like that here. Okay, now what you see in here is actually mildly misleading. Here you have some of the matrix rocks which had some of the emeralds, which were reasonably decent emeralds that were given a harder look, but the reality was, what they would do in the mine was, when they found the good emeralds, what they would do is they would actually place those in their pockets or a bucket. And really what would happen here was the bad rocks that were completely meaningless would go in here and they would be taken out of the mine and basically thrown out. Okay. However, to continue the tour, I can show you right now a little bit about emeralds around the world. Now, Colombia is the leading producer of emeralds in the world. It's probably 65% of the good quality emeralds in the world come from Colombia. However, the next ones after that are Brazil and Zambia. Now, in terms of quantity, it's Colombia, Brazil, and Zambia. In terms of quality, it is Colombia, Zambia, and then Brazil. Now, most importantly, I mentioned earlier, the 3 things are transparency, which allows you to see through it, brightness, which gives a sparkling appearance to it, and the color. It has to be a good darker green. Now you can see Colombia leads in all 3. If you look at this one here, here's a specific example right here. You can see all 3 of them right there. So that one there is going to get a very hard look. Okay. Alrighty, here we are showing you a little bit of a diagram of what the mines are like in Colombia. Now I should mention, the emerald mines in Colombia are concentrated in Boyacá State, which is where about 200 of them are. Now they're all found in a mountain. You can see right here, you can see some of them are right at the top, just right by a village here. Some of them are a little bit down the mountain, some of them are a little further down here, and some towards the bottom. But they're always going to be concentrated in a mountain. Now, one thing I should mention is the most famous one and the biggest one is the Muso mine, which is in Boyacá State, and it has the best balance of the 3 characteristics: the brightness, the dark green, and the transparency, the ones I mentioned earlier. How are we continuing the tour now? I mentioned Colombia is a very big producer of emeralds, but here's a map of Colombia here. Now Bogota is the capital right in the middle right there, and right there, that little green spot there, that's the Boyacá state, which is where the emerald production is concentrated. Now here we are in Cartagena North. See where it says Tirona right there? Just a little bit south on the coast is where Cartagena is located. Now, looking over here, this one right here was an emerald that the cacique wore. Now the cacique was a chief of one of the Indian villages, the indigenous villages, okay, and it was a symbol of power and knowledge. Now if you look over here, interestingly enough, this is an emerald that the Mexicans gave to Hernando Cortez because they saw him as being related to the god that they're waiting to come by. Now the interesting story is, we don't know exactly how the emeralds got here because they don't find emeralds in Mexico in terms of production, so there must have been some kind of trade going on back at the time. Alrighty, continuing the tour now. Here we have some stones which are sisters of the emerald family. Now, I should mention these ones here are semi-precious because they don't have the characteristics that the emeralds have. They're not dark green, some of them are a bit transparent, but you don't see any that are dark green, and they don't have the brightness that the emeralds do. Some of them have the brightness, sparkling, but you can see they don't have the same thing. You have a look over here, some of them here, some of the few characteristics, but because they don't meet the qualifications, they're only semi-precious stones, whereas the emerald is a precious stone. Already continuing the tour now. Here we have the Pedra, which is the most famous and the biggest rock in the area, or at least in the area where they produce the emeralds. Now, it's the main reason they created this museum. Now, what happened was, as I mentioned earlier, when they see the calcite in the walls, they would explode it, and this rock was very tough and resistant, and they could actually see it right here, and it would come out to be the biggest rock. Okay, now if you can see right now, here, you've got a lot of crystals in there that actually meet three characteristics. That was the color, the transparency, and the brightness. Okay, now if you look behind here, this rock they found here, it's all just dark rock behind it. So what you're seeing is basically on the top of the dark rock. Alrighty, continuing the tour, now I'm going to show you some of the emeralds here and the quality. Now from here, we start with the lowest quality, and we move over here. This is the best quality here. So basically you go from least to best quality. Now, I should mention, if you look over here, these rocks right here, the best quality, they say the ones that have a bit of a bluish tint to them have the best quality. Now, there's a couple other things that you mentioned. There's the three inclusions, the solid, liquid, and gas. Now, any emerald that has no inclusions in it is fake. All emeralds are going to have some of the liquid and gas bubbles in there, okay? But the ones with the least inclusions are the best quality. Alright, continuing tour. Here we are in the lab. Now, I can't show you every little detail, but here we have somebody here who is polishing little pieces here, making a little tree-like ornament here. Now, over here, what they're doing is they're making jewelry, and then down here, they're doing a little more polishing. Now, as you mentioned, not only do they do emeralds here, but they make gold and silver. Alright, here we are continuing the tour. Now, here we have the shop room where they sell all of their product. Now, I should mention it was sterling silver that they sell, that's the specific name of it, and they sell gold and emeralds. Now, I'm not going to mention any prices, but I'll tell you right now, they can be pretty pricey. You can see it starts right there, okay, and it goes around here, and around there, and all the way around there. Okay, so this is the Emerald Museum tour. Come check it out.